FM News. On point.
Thank you for joining us. Here's a quick look at the news. I'm Lynn Komjisha. President Museveni has warned political players against working with external forces to destabilize the country. This follows a series of protests across the country after the arrest of new presidential flag bearer Robert Sentamu Kyagulanyi. Museveni, while campaigning in Kotido district, said attacking NRM supporters and rioting will not be tolerated.
Those who have been attacking the NRM people in the Kampala area, they will soon lose that appetite. You will shame and you feel you cannot touch it. You don't have appetite. Even if they leave it abandoned there, you will not touch it. Because they have entered an area we know very well of fighting, that's up to them. Whoever started it will regret. So some of these groups are being used by outsiders, homosexuals, I don't know what, groups outside there who don't like the stability of Uganda and the independence of Uganda.
The president adds that people who want to interfere with the elections are afraid because the NRM party will win with a very big percentage, warning that they will be dealt with accordingly.
We are going to get a very big percentage. That's why those traitors are desperate. They think that after what they say, they say they want to stop the elections, to create violence so that the elections are not held. Elections will be held and the one who tried to fight will lose. And they will answer for the crime they have committed. We shall not tolerate confused people. They are playing with fire. We are not going to tolerate anybody to delay our progress because we have come very far. People have done nothing for the country, zooming on good tarmac roads across the country, then they come to disturb.
Buganda Kingdom Premier Charles Peter Maiga has condemned the violence as campaigns go on ahead of the 2021 general elections. Maiga says such violence compromises peace in the country and calls on all players to work for peace, asking security organs to execute their work professionally. He said this during a press conference at Bulange Mengo.
Some people want to be president of Uganda, others want to be MPs, but they are humiliated, they are tortured. Yesterday we witnessed murder, witnessed tear gas, and plenty of violent acts against political aspirants. We urge government to stop this because it doesn't contribute to the peace, instead it violates the peace in the country.
Parliament wants the Electoral Commission to take charge of the electoral process and guide political players on how to conduct campaigns. Police yesterday arrested the presidential flag bearer National Unity Platform, which sparked riots in some parts of the country, protesting against his arrest. The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, during Parliament sitting today, condemned the actions of security agencies for violating human rights and asked candidates to prevail over their supporters.
Ongoing demonstrations and related matters are direct replica of inadequate civic education conducted by the Electoral Commission. I therefore want to urge Ugandans and to remind them that there is life after elections. Uganda belongs to each and every one of us, and the ongoing electoral process should not come in between us, but they should unite us for a common good. And
the newly appointed Cricket Cranes coach, Lawrence Martin, has promised Uganda will be among the best cricket nations in the world. The South African coach was appointed in June, but was delayed by COVID-19 movement restrictions. The 44-year-old coach has finally been unveiled today at Kati Lugogo on a 3-year contract. He comes with a vast experience, having coached South Africa 19 national team for 6 years. He is impressed by the new job and will be working with Jackson Ongwang as his assistant.
Really special to be in the Pearl of Africa at last. It has been a process in terms of, we all know how the world has been with COVID, and it has had its challenges. And I'm sure myself and the players and everybody else have been very frustrated with how it's gone down in the last 6 months, but I'm glad now that I'm here. And obviously the short-term goals are how to prepare the side for the upcoming tour, get the guys ready and get to know the guys. I'll spend a bit of time with Dave.
In other news, 4 more suspects have appeared in a Kenyan court on suspicion of child trafficking after a BBC investigation uncovered evidence of a network of the illicit trade in Nairobi earlier this week. This brings to 7 the number of people arraigned in court. Court documents show that the suspects who appear today include 2 hospital administrators, a nurse and a social worker. They've not been formally charged and were not asked to plead. Investigators told the court that the 4 worked at a government hospital in Nairobi and were suspected of engaging in child trafficking. The court was also informed that a BBC broadcast had exposed a well-planned plot to sell a child who had been abandoned at a government hospital. The prosecution was granted its request to detain them for 2 more days, along with 3 others who were arraigned before the same court yesterday. Earlier this week, a BBC Africa Eye documentary uncovered a series of illegal networks in which children were stolen from homeless mothers and sold on the streets for as little as $400. The BBC investigation also uncovered evidence of babies offered for sale in illegal private clinics as well as at a public hospital. In entertainment news, Bobby Brown's 28-year-old son, Bobby Brown Jr., has been found dead at his home in Los Angeles 5 years after the death of his half-sister, Bobby Christina, and 8 years after his stepmother, Whitney Houston, drowned in a bath. Police rushed to a medical emergency at his home in California, and it's unclear what the cause of death was or who called for help, but police say they do not think foul play was involved. Bobby Jr. is the second child R&B singer Brown has lost after the death of his daughter with ex-wife Houston. Bobby Christina, who was found unconscious in a bathtub in 2015 at the age of 22. Bobby Christina's adopted brother, Nick Gordon, with whom she had a controversial relationship before her death, also died in January this year. 3 years before their daughter's death, Houston drowned in a bathtub after taking cocaine and Xanax. She and Brown had a tempestuous 15-year marriage that was plagued by drug abuse, violence, and infidelity. Bobby Jr. is one of Brown's 7 children. He's not commented on his son's death. That was the news.
XFM News on point.